Hello and welcome back to Beartooth Hill Bike Park in Planet Coaster, and it's usually the opposite, but it has not been long since the last video in this series. It was only 3 days ago I believe, and I've just had so many great ideas with this. I've suddenly got lots of inspiration, so I've been working on it lots, and even after this episode I think I still, in my mind, I've planned out what will be happening, so I think we can get this over the finish line in the coming weeks. Honestly, I think this might be done even before Silver Azteca, my other series, but in this video, as the title says, we will be building some of the final bike trails for this bike park. But right now we are actually building a toilet block. This is near the Log Flume and the wooden roller coaster, which are at this Midway Plaza area, and we've not got that many toilets in this park. There's one at the bottom and there's one near the Alpine Coaster, so I thought it would make sense to have one near these attractions as well. We will also shortly build a nearby stand for refreshments, so some people might need to go to the toilet for obvious reasons. And yeah, we're just placing those low stone walls again, and that building is pretty much complete. It's very simple. I've used this style of building before, so I know what I'm doing. It didn't really take very long. And then yeah, we're just putting the trees back into place to fill in a couple of last gaps that we left after removing them. And then here are some bike racks. I'm using these iron ring pieces, which I think they're meant for a door of some sort, but if you put two of them together, then they work perfectly for where a bike rack could be, and people can lock their bikes whilst they go and ride the roller coaster. But on your screens now, you are watching me build a small little building, which is a ticket office. And you might have seen right at the start, we built an area, a desk where people can go and buy ride passes. And I will mention this again, I have talked about this previously in the series, but some of you might have forgotten. This park would be free entry, and then you can buy a ticket which will give you unlimited access for one day to go on all the attractions. That includes the cable car, the Alpine Coaster, the Log Flume and the wooden coaster. So there is a desk at the entrance where you can also buy ride passes, but I thought it would make sense, to have this next to the actual attractions themselves as well, because some people might not realise that they were meant to buy a pass there, and then they walk all the way up here, find out they can't go on them and have to go back down and then obviously back up again. So I thought I would reduce the hassle. Thinking about it realistically, there would be one here, and same again for the Alpine Coaster. I just thought it would make sense to have it near all the attractions. So yeah, that's there for the same reason that the other cab is at the other side of the park. Now we are working on a food stall. This is again using the same style architecture that I have done. I've got to have that consistency. I can't change up the building pieces too much. Sometimes I have used iron corrugated roofs, but that's usually for more makeshift things. I did actually use it for the wooden coaster roof, because I actually quite liked how that looked, so I wanted to have that for a little bit of variety, but overall, you got to keep things pretty similar. And I'm actually closing this because I didn't want to put the detail in. It's gonna spend a good couple of hours if I want to make this look just as realistic as a real one of these would do. I didn't want to use the in-game restaurant, the little shops where you can get food, because guests can't even walk up here. There isn't a path underneath this because the pathing system is dreadful, and if you're doing that on hills as well, it only makes it worse. So yeah, I just wanted to have it closed for now, since people won't even be in the park anyway, and yeah, it's just effort, isn't it? But we are building some trails now. These are going to be the final trails. This is the purpose of the video pretty much. So to start, we are just building this zigzag track up to the top, so park staff could use 4x4 vehicles to go up this. It's quite wide, people can walk up it and cycle up it. I don't think it would be a great idea to cycle down because it's very steep, and yeah, it's just for accessibility. And yeah, we're just painting it so it looks a bit more like a road. You saw me there, I deleted all the paths across the top. Like I've been saying, we don't need paths in this park because there's not any guests, so there's not really any point in having that there. But this is the first trail of the video. and we are making a little bridge going across this stream, which I use the Log Flume to make because it gives that flowing look of it. So yeah, just using the simple wooden planks, and we will put some poles alongside of it to make it look structurally sound so that it'll all hold together, and then the little supports going up. So yeah, we just, you know, play around with the terrain so that it would flow smoothly on a bike, and quite soon we will build another one of these ramps. But yeah, this run is probably going to be a red. There is a little drop off in the next ramp that I build here. I thought it would be cool to have a small jump going over this river, and of course just then I talked about a red run, and obviously that is the difficulty. Red means difficult, so yeah, green is easy, blue is moderate, red's difficult, and then black is extremely difficult. But I want you guys to name some of these runs, and I'll tell you how that's going to work a bit later on. But yeah, I'm really happy with how the structure for this works. You can see that the drop off is quite small, and you know, you wouldn't really be able to fall down that gap. The tyre would be too big to go down the gap, but it still offers a bit of thrill because you're going over a little jump over a river. Well, it's not a river, it's just a stream, but it will be fun, and that just makes it seem a little bit more exciting. But it would still be a red. I don't think it looks that difficult, so I don't think it could be a black. And on this side here, we are just placing a little bit of low fences, just, you know, for a bit of safety, because it does drop off and become quite steep to the left if you ever fell off that. But normally falling into a stream isn't really going to be the worst thing. You could get some scratches and some bruises, but it's not going to kill you. But I just thought that the side to the left where it goes down quite steeply, if you keep rolling, that could do some damage. But most people won't need to go into the fences anyway. A lot of the time they can just be hindrances, and sometimes you just want to go straight across without the fence on the side, because you know it could catch your handlebars. So this little hill down here is actually quite steep, but I think that's fine, as it does have quite a big runoff afterwards which gently slopes back uphill, so you would be able to slow down before you started to have to do any turns. But that's pretty much the final element for this whole trail. And you know, I love those kind of drops. You see it in road cycling, just going down a hill, feeling the wind rush through your face, and it's actually really exhilarating. Obviously not as good as roller coasters, but it's up there. But I think this run here is one of my favourites of the whole park. Probably, I think it might be my favourite that I've done. It just seems to flow really well, and I love how it interacts with the stream. You know, all the little ramps going across it, and it just looks really good after zooming out on it from a bird's eye view. But we are putting in some bushes and rocks and then trees, you know, just decorating it, make it look natural. And of course you have seen me do this a lot in this series as a whole, so I do cut out quite a lot of this. I think I spent a good hour or so for this episode placing all these rocks and trees, but I've cut a lot of it out because it's just the same old stuff and you don't really want to see it. If you do want to see it, let me know, but there's not much to commentate about either. It's just the same. But anyway, there is stuff to commentate about now. We are on to the second bike run, and this will be the final bike run of the video. I do have to do another one next to this to fill in the space, but I thought that you wouldn't want to see that because it's probably going to be quite similar to this one and the one before. So I'll do that off camera just before I can start recording for the next video, and I have something pretty big planned for next video, so I hope you guys are looking forward to that. But you know, to make it accessible for all ages, this park, this has to be a blue run. I don't want too many difficult ones, and some of the North Shore boards, which is what the wooden plank boards are called, they do look quite intimidating for younger people. For example, people in families might not want to take the younger kids down it. So to be fair, this one does look pretty hard. But I've not really got anywhere else to go, so of course I'm putting these fences in to stop you from potentially falling off, because if you came over that side, that would not be good. But I think, you know, I'll put some signs up telling people to slow down, because if you're going slow, then it's just a simple bank down to the left and then back to the right, and then that will be the end of this blue trail. And again, rocks, there's not much else to say, but I will tell you about how I want you guys to name this whilst you see all of these rocks, bushes and trees go on in the background. So I wanted to thank some of you guys for all the support in this series by letting you choose a name for a trail, whatever you want, as long as it's not rude. So I'll sort of be judging who gets to name them by looking at who's been commenting on the videos. It's just because I can't really find who you are if you don't comment. But yeah, this might sound like some kind of fake giveaway, but honestly it's not. It's not like going to win an iPhone though, just a name for a bike trail which I will put on the park map once I've built that, and it will also go on the Steam Workshop description with your username. So I'll try and find you on Instagram, which is the exact same as my YouTube name, and I'll ask you to come up with this name via direct message. Most of you I've already got, so it shouldn't be too difficult. But remember, this doesn't have to be relevant at all, it's completely your choice, just make sure to keep it PG. But thank you so much for watching guys, and thank you for all the fantastic support like I just said. So yeah, I will see you all in the next video, goodbye.